All right, here we are in video 2 of lesson 7, and we have a Venn diagram here of quadrilaterals. And this is kind of interesting. So think about the hierarchy, or look at the hierarchy on the wall. You also have this in page 53 of your book. So notice we have, just look at it for a minute and think about what you notice. Okay, so you can see that we have the set of all quadrilaterals here, right? And everything is inside of quadrilaterals. Look at the little details there. See how squares is down here inside of rhombuses and inside of, partially inside of kites, and inside of rectangles and inside of parallelograms and inside of trapezoids. Yeah, and then kites is interesting because kites is inside of parallelograms, but also outside of parallelograms, right? And squares are inside of rectangles, but there's also some things that could be rectangles that are not squares. Some things that are parallelograms that are not rhombuses. But everything that's a parallelogram is inside of trapezoids. Yeah? Lots of things to look at there. Okay, so here I'm going to ask you some questions. Is the section for trapezoids inside or outside of quadrilaterals? Are trapezoids inside or outside of quadrilaterals? Yeah, you can see right there. It's inside of quadrilaterals. Section for trapezoids is inside of quadrilaterals because all trapezoids are quadrilaterals. Does that mean that all quadrilaterals are trapezoids? No, right? Some quadrilaterals do not have parallel sides, right? Trapezoids need to have at least one pair of parallel sides, and you can have a quadrilateral, a four-sided figure that doesn't have parallel sides, right? Okay, now let's think about parallelograms, right? Here's our yellow box of parallelograms. All parallelograms are quadrilaterals. You see that it's inside the quadrilaterals, but not all quadrilaterals are parallelograms. Does the diagram show that? Right, because kites are out here, trapezoids are out here. Yes, okay. Why is the section for parallelograms inside the section for trapezoids? Because all parallelograms are trapezoids, right? Parallelograms have two sets of parallel sides. Trapezoids have one set of parallel sides. So it's just like kind of what we were talking about in the last video with the triangles, right? If you have to have at least one pair of parallel sides to be a trapezoid, then everything that has two pairs of parallel sides is going to also be a trapezoid. Okay? What sections are completely inside the section for parallelograms? Completely inside. Rectangles are all parallelograms. Squares are all parallelograms. Rhombuses are all parallelograms, right? Two pairs of parallel sides. Makes sense, right? Two pairs of parallel sides. They're going to go on forever. Picture a rectangle. Picture a square. Picture a rhombus. Could be this way, could be that way, right? And all parallelograms. All right, nice. What sections are, okay, I think we already answered that question, sorry. Are all rhombuses squares? Are all rhombuses squares? Can you tell by looking at the diagram? Okay, so here you see rhombuses, and here you see squares. So not all rhombuses are squares, right? Because rhombuses don't have to have right angles. They have to have opposite sides that are equal, just like a square. But they don't have to have right angles, so they can be, I call them leaning, right? Okay. Why is the section for squares inside both the section for rectangles and the section for rhombuses? You see that? Because they're both rectangles and rhombuses, depending on Well, they have equal sides, right? So that makes them a rhombus. And it also makes them a rectangle because a rectangle has right angles. Now remember, when you're like in kindergarten and first grade, a rectangle is longer on one side and shorter on the other side, right? But now we know that it also just means that it only means that you have 4 right angles. It doesn't matter what the sizes are. Okay, so 4 right angles, and then a square is 4 right angles, but it's still inside of a rectangle. 4 right angles and 4 sides the same. Okay, very important that you understand that. What else can we classify a rectangle as? All right, so let's look at our diagram. We can see a square can be a rectangle. A rectangle can be a parallelogram. A rectangle can be a trapezoid. A rectangle can be a quadrilateral, right? All right. And on to our next video. I hope you're enjoying learning how to draw an autograph. I know it's kind of funny watching him do it, but think about what you can do with your own or practice while you watch the video. So let's watch a little more of that.
Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application.
You are obviously interested in writing and drawing and stuff like that, so make sure you are subscribed to Draw Stuff Real Easy. Just keep practicing and practicing, and have to practice that. ESH, something like that. No, because it's kind of turning it into a P. So let's bring that to the J, and then ESH. And a dot along the top. This is now starting to look like an autograph, so no. So you have to practice this motion again and again. Down, around, across, and across. ESH. So now we need to practice that bit again. So ESH, isn't it? So put it all together. We got ESH, and that is now starting to look like an autograph. And when you kind of thinned it down and honed it down and decided, yeah, I quite like that, then you must practice this again and again and again, day after day after day. Do it 50, 100 times a day. Do it in a little book so you can see that you're getting better, and just practice doing it. And eventually you'll find you are kind of doing it perfectly the same time each way. It's muscle memory, the same way that your fingers have to learn to play a piano or a violin, or your foot learns to kick a ball. It's exactly the same. When you think about it, it all goes wrong. You need to just do it. And to be able to just do it requires a lot of practice. So designing it is one thing. Then you need to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Well, thanks for watching. Please like this
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
video and make sure you...
Sorry. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.